Road in St. Albans at guysfarmyard.com.
The Brady Farkas Show is produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to WDEV@radiovermont.com.
The energy. How does anybody live and drive in Boston every single day? This guy stopped in the middle of the road with his hazard lights on. This guy won't yield. That guy won't let you go. That guy passes in front of you. That guy goes 3 lanes of traffic, all in one shot. How does anybody do this?
The passion.
Look, if the Red Sox aren't going to play Yoshida and Devers as they're about to get swept, then we might as well just give up and go home.
The opinions on all your favorite teams.
I'm glad that Mac Jones looks better. That's really important. He needs to look better. But if it were a video game, he'd still have an overall rating of 76, and that ain't cutting it.
This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? A very happy Tuesday to you here on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. The show is brought to you by Fecto Homes. They are your total home solution. We are online there. They are online at fectohomes.com. We've also got a full show all 90 minutes today. We'll get you ready for Red Sox and Mariners today. We'll talk about what happened last night. We got some stuff on the Patriots and Ezekiel Elliott. We've got a full breakdown of what's happening right now as we speak as part of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. You can get in on the AR Auto text line, 802-585-3026. That's the AR Auto text line, 585-3026. They're online at ARAutosales.com. Danny, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to pull up MLBTradeRumors.com. I need you to be monitoring this along with me. If you see any deals that are breaking, just keep hitting refresh. Let us know the details as we come through. It's one of our great benefits now in having a producer here with us full time all the time that Danny can be my eyes here while I'm talking again. 802-585-3026. Danny and I are on it here with a half hour left in the trade deadline. Lego.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
The opening thoughts on the Brady Farkas Show are brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and by Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They are online at sticksandstuff.com. As of right now, the Boston Red Sox have not done anything at the trade deadline. As of right now, the trade deadline has 28 minutes to go. A couple of deals can trickle in just after 6 o'clock, so we can't crush the Red Sox yet. But boy, am I getting to the point where I want to crush the Red Sox. I have been, at first, a Chaim Bloom total defender. I have at times been a Chaim Bloom apologist. I have then just been a guy who's tried to figure out Chaim Bloom's rationale. I've turned into what I call, about a lot of people, a Chaim Bloom truth teller. I've kind of been at every stage that you can be at with Chaim Bloom. The one thing I really haven't been with him very often is angry. If the Red Sox don't do anything in the next now 27 minutes, I am going to be angry. And it will really, I was upset how they handled the deadline last year. I thought they handled it wrong. But I wasn't as upset as I'm about to be now if nothing happens. Because this team deserves an investment. And right now, they haven't gotten it. And that frustrates me to no end. It should frustrate you, and it's going to frustrate the players. Okay? We got 27 minutes to go, and there's nothing that's come through. We went through the afternoon news service, Danny and I, and we talked about every deal that's gone on so far today, right? And we got a couple more that have just trickled in, right? From small deals like catcher Austin Hedges getting traded from the Pirates, or from Cleveland, rather, to Texas, or from the Pirates to Texas. We've got Edward Bizardo going from the Orioles to the Mariners, all the way up the chain to Jake Berger going from Chicago to the Marlins, to Justin Verlander going from the Mets to the Houston Astros. We've seen deals of all types today being made, and contenders are going for it. You know who's not going for it right now? The Boston Red Sox. And that frustrates me to no end, because this team deserves it. As we've talked about here for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, it's been really impressive what they've done, has it not? They've weathered the storm in the face of injuries, in the face of adversity, in the face of not having Trevor Story, in the face of losing Xander Bogaerts, in the face of losing JD Martinez, and losing, being down to 3 starting pitchers here. They've overcome a lot. They're over 500. They're 2.5 games back in the playoff race. They deserve it. This clubhouse deserves a message, a positive message being sent. What they don't deserve is a feeling of neutrality, which is where we're at. Because you know what? Let me take you through what's happening in Major League Clubhouse right now. I've never been in one, but I can promise you this is what's happening. The Boston Red Sox are getting ready to play the Seattle Mariners today, right? They're getting ready for infield work and batting practice and throwing in the outfield and all that stuff. We're 4 hours away from game time. And the Boston Red Sox are seeing all of their rivals, all of the teams they are around, all of the teams they are chasing, making moves to help them. And they're sitting there like Homer Simpson looking around going, huh? What? What about us? Okay. The Toronto Blue Jays made a move to get a shortstop, and Paul DeYoung got a top reliever in Jordan Hicks. They got better. That's a team that is the team the Red Sox are directly chasing. Tampa Bay Rays, a team that the Red Sox are chasing in the wild card, chasing in the division. A team within their division, a team they're going to see down the stretch. Went and got another starter in Aaron Savale, is working on getting other players here with 25 minutes to go. You look around the Angels, a team you're battling with in the wild card, a team that is right behind you, directly behind you, has gone out and added 6 different players at the trade deadline. You've done nothing. They've gotten better. Houston Astros, who, by the way, the Houston Astros, you're going to see 7 times in the month of August. I believe your last 10 games, I could be wrong on this, but I believe your last 10 games in August are against the Astros and the Dodgers. Both teams that are good. Both teams that are got better. Both teams that might be in first place by the time you see them. Astros get Verlander and Kendall Graveman. Dodgers go and get Lynn. They go and get Joe Kelly. They go get Ahmed Rosario. You've done nothing. Okay? You've done nothing. And I know that you're looking at this saying, Garrett Whitlock's coming back, and Chris Sale's coming back, and Trevor Story's coming back, and Chaim Bloom, and Houck is coming back, and that's all fine. You are right. There are 4 big players coming back for the Red Sox. Story, Sale, Houck, Whitlock. That is important. That matters. I was not asking you to go get Justin Verlander. I was not asking you to trade for a guy with 30 home runs. I was not asking you to go get a future batting champ. I was asking you to send a message to the clubhouse that we believe in you, that you have done enough. You had your star player yesterday come out on Sunday. We talked about it yesterday. Your star player in Rafael Devers come out and plead with the front office saying, hey, we need some help. We've played our butt off to get to this point. We need some stuff to get us over the end line here. Okay? Toronto has now separated from you a little bit. The Angels have done a lot more than you. Seattle hasn't done anything yet either. So I can't say that I'm real worried about them if I'm the Red Sox, but Houston better, Toronto better, Texas better. All the teams I'll be battling with, Angels better, and you've done nothing but sit on your hands. Man, I am frustrated. I have recognized a lot of what Chaim Bloom has wanted to do here over the last 3.5 years. I've defended it a lot. I've taken a lot of arrows for him, but this one, I can't defend. If the next 20 minutes come and go and the Red Sox do nothing, I cannot defend this. In 2021, when the Red Sox had a worse farm system, okay, they had a better record at the time, but they had a worse farm system. They went out and they got Austin Davis and Hansel Robles, and they found a way to get Kyle Schwarber. And you know what they did? They went to the ALCS. In 2021, Chaim Bloom invested. Robles and Davis, small moves. Turned out to be good that year, weren't so great the next. But you know what? For 2021, when you got them, they were excellent. Then you go get Schwarber, and he's a good piece for you and a veteran piece. He's good in the lineup when he gets healthy, and there you go when he's starting for you in the playoffs. They had a worse farm system that year, and they were more invested. This year, Chaim Bloom has built the farm system. He's gotten it to a point where it's bordering on top 10. The prospects are there. Why do you build a farm system? I've talked about this a lot. Why are prospects important? Their prospects are important because they matriculate and graduate to play for you, a la Tristan Casas, a la Brian Bayo. They are also valuable because they become trade pieces for you around the deadline and in the offseason. And I get not wanting to trade Marcelo Meyer, and I get not wanting to trade Nick York, and I get not wanting to get rid of Bayo. I am all for that. I understand that. I appreciate that. I agree with that. But you've built up a system that is up near the top 10. You can afford to deal from it. You have a guy in Adam Duvall who is a redundant piece on your roster. You have 5 outfielders. You do not need 5 outfielders. Okay, I didn't want to trade Verdugo yesterday. I can trade Duvall. They haven't done it. Danny, you've been monitoring it now for the 10 minutes since I've been talking. Has anything come through, MLB trade rumors, about the Boston Red Sox yet?
We still have Justin Verlander at the top.
Okay, Justin Verlander at the top. That tells me nothing really has happened around baseball in the last 10 minutes. Okay, I'm looking here. Rays make a minor league trade. Colton Wong gets DFA'd. Chaim Bloom scheduled to talk to the media about 15 minutes after the trade deadline expires. That comes from Ian Brown of MLB.com, who covers the Red Sox for MLB. Okay, scheduled to talk to the media 15 minutes after the deadline expires. That leads me to believe nothing's coming late, because if something was coming late, he'd wait to talk until the deal was finalized, right? We will see deals trickle in just after 6 o'clock, sometimes as late as 6:30. If Chaim Bloom thought that was going to be the case, if he's like, hey, we're finishing up the paperwork, we got to get it into the league office, they've got to announce it, might not have it out here until 6:15, 6:20. If that was going to be the case, he wouldn't be talking at 6:15. But he's evidently appears ready to talk, which leads me to believe that his work here is done, and his work here is nothing, and that is incredibly frustrating. Okay, White Sox get a minor leaguer from the Rays. Marlins get Jake Berger from the White Sox, a guy with 25 home runs. Red Sox get nothing. Okay, what kind of world are we in where the Miami Marlins are going for it and the Boston Red Sox are not? The Miami Marlins go get a closer in David Robertson. They go get a 25 home run guy in Jake Berger. They're checking in on Tim Anderson. They're checking in on Salvador Perez. The Marlins are in on everybody. And I haven't heard one peep about the Boston Red Sox. I haven't heard one peep. And that's frustrating to me. 802-585-3026, AIR Auto text line. Peter says, I can't understand why Chaim Bloom didn't go get Aaron Savale before the Rays did. If I'm the Red Sox, I'm upset. If I'm a Red Sox fan. Will in Plattsburgh says, I can't believe they didn't go after Verlander. Look, you didn't want to give up what the Mets gave up for Verlander. I am okay with that. I am for going for it. I'm also not for gutting the future. And it would have taken Marcelo Meyer to go get Justin Verlander. I wouldn't have wanted to do that. Could they have gotten Savale? Maybe. Could they have gotten Rich Hill to to serve as a stopgap until, Sale's back, or until Houck's back, or until Whitlock's back? Yeah, they probably could have, but they didn't. I can only imagine how the clubhouse feels right now. If this is it, and if this is nothing, and the only move the Red Sox make in trade season is getting rid of Kike Hernandez, imagine how that clubhouse feels. Devers came out, man. He put himself out there. A guy who doesn't talk, a guy who said, I don't really want to be a leader. I just want to be one of the guys. He put himself out there Sunday. And he made a statement. He made a call to action for the front office, and they've largely ignored it. They'll tell us they worked the phones. They'll tell us they tried. They'll tell us the market was tough. All of that's probably true. Doesn't matter to me. You're 2.5 games back. You're the Boston Red Sox. You could buy a prospect. You could absorb salary. You could bring on a veteran. You can do things that other guys can't do, that other teams can't do, and they've done none of it. Red Sox could deal from their farm system. Haven't done it. Red Sox could deal from their major league roster and Duvall or Verdugo. Haven't done it. Red Sox could bring in a veteran player on salary. Look, there's players out there that are making more money than their teams want to pay them. And the Red Sox can say, you know what? Just give us the player. We'll take the salary. They could do that. They've chosen not to. And maybe it's an ownership thing as well. It's, when it comes to money, it's ownership. Also, it's not just Chaim Bloom, but this front office and this structure today, if they don't do something in the next 15 minutes, will have failed this team and will have failed this fan base. I'm for not going for it when you're haphazard and you're 5 games back. You're 2.5 games back. You've played well. You had a good July. I believe had one of the top 3 records in baseball in July. Mariners were pretty good. Orioles were pretty good. You were pretty good as well. 2.5 back. And now it's not a punt because you haven't sold, right? They're not punting, but they certainly aren't going for it in a way that their competition is. And eventually when you do that, you end up just getting lapped. Toronto has separated. The Angels have closed the gap. Houston has separated. And you're going to see Houston and you're going to see the Dodgers coming up all of August, and you're not prepared for it. Chaim Bloom's putting a lot of faith and a lot of pressure right now on those injured guys to come back. Garrett Whitlock, Tanner Houck, Chris Sale, those 3 better stay healthy and they better be damn good, because that's where the pressure is right now. Chaim Bloom, if nothing happens in the next 15 minutes, has sent the message that Chris Sale, that Tanner Houck, and the Garrett Whitlock, that those guys plus Story are good enough to get the job done. And the pressure goes squarely on them and therefore on him. Because if this is it, these are the guys you're rolling with, right? Danny, you're not, you haven't been following baseball enough to realize this, but pre-COVID, there were 2 trade deadlines. There was July 31st and there was August 31st. And August 31st was a little harder and it was a little different and it required more maneuvering and it was waivers and it was all that. It's not worth me explaining it all. But back in the day, you could make moves for July 31st and then you could play in August, see where you're at, and you could go make moves, or you could play in July, make moves, and then play in August and kind of see where you're at and make more moves. This is it. There's one trade deadline now. Red Sox have one shot at this. After today, after 6 o'clock today, these are the guys you got. These are the guys you're rolling with. 3 starters right now, a bunch of journeyman guys helping out, and a bunch of injured pitchers that you're coming back and counting on. It's not a plan that I love. Again, I wasn't asking for the moon. I didn't need Verlander. I didn't need Lance Lynn. But they could have got a stopgap guy, a veteran to eat some innings, to bridge the gap until your other guys came back. And then when they did, you at least had depth and options. Because what's to say that Chris Sale doesn't come back, and as Buster Olney has told us, that they're just going to run him until into the ground, basically. And what's to say that he doesn't get hurt again on August 20th? And now he's done. And now you're sitting there wondering, hey, how are we going to replace Sale? At least if you had acquired a Rich Hill type, you would have had that answer in-house. Now you don't. Can we talk about the Patriots needing depth at wide receiver? What if somebody gets injured? Red Sox need depth at pitcher in case someone gets injured. You got a bunch of guys who have been injured a lot, and you've done nothing to address it. It's very, very frustrating. Tex says, it's disappointing because they could make a run with this team. They absolutely could make a run with this team. And right now, it's not to say that they're not going to play inspired. It's not to say that they can't pull this off. They're 2.5 back. Of course they can. This team is good. These players are good. But they needed some help. And so far, they haven't gotten it. Okay? So far, they haven't gotten it. I'm looking, giving MLB Trade Rumors one more check here. Okay? Austin Hedges acquired by the Rangers. That's a catcher that not many of you care about. Tommy Pham's going to be traded from the Mets. I doubt he's coming to the Red Sox. The Red Sox did the Tommy Pham show last year. The Red Sox have too many outfielders, not enough outfielders. So we don't know, or they have too many outfielders. They're not lacking in them. So I don't think Tommy Pham's coming here. And right now it looks like nobody's coming here. It's the Brady Farkas show on WDEV, AM and FM at WDEVradio.com. Since it looks like this is going to be the squad, we'll talk a little bit about Chris Sale, what we've heard about him as he gets ready to rehab here. He's got his rehab start tonight. What exactly are we looking for? That's next on DEV. The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
For 38 years, Dio & Sons Trucking in Berlin has built a great reputation in the local area, and they're ready for you to join their team. Dio & Sons Trucking is looking for a Class A CDL truck driver to drive flatbed trailers, working locally. Shift times are generally 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. They offer competitive wages, paid holidays, and paid vacations. To apply, email diosuntrucking@gmail.com. That's diosuntrucking@gmail.com. Dio & Sons Trucking is an equal opportunity employer.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
The extracurricular activities, the traffic, the nightly homework, the traffic, the finding time to eat dinner together as a family, the traffic. Back to school can be stressful. Thanks to Ziploc, meal prep doesn't have to be. New Ziploc bags with Stay Open design have a patented stand-up bottom that helps keep the bag upright and a top crease that folds and holds for easy filling, unlocking a second set of hands in the kitchen. If only it unlocked a second set of lanes. New Ziploc brand freezer and storage bags with Stay Open design from S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Local businesses advertise with WDEV because they get results.
We've done a broad selection of other stations, and DEV kind of represents an interesting niche. It's been one of our better producing stations. DEV has a dedicated and responsive audience, so as an advertiser, there's not much more you can ask for. Paul LaShore from Green Mountain Solar.
Interested in advertising on WDEV? Contact us at WDEV@radiovermont.com.
The Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026.
This is former NFL wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson, and now we're back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV Radio and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. The Diamondbacks are that team acquiring Tommy Pham. They needed the right-handed hitting outfielder, so it's not the Boston Red Sox. So with 8 minutes to play, here it doesn't look like anything's going to happen for the Red Sox. Chaim Bloom is going to speak to the media here at 6:15. Danny and I will be monitoring that, and we'll take you through some of what he has to say about the trade deadline and the activity or the lack thereof or what the market looks like. But it's looking increasingly likely, Danny, that this is going to be the Red Sox team moving forward. And this Red Sox team moving forward is good. This Red Sox team moving forward is interesting. I think this Red Sox team moving forward has a fight in it. I do not think that they're going to go quietly. But today, if I'm a Red Sox player in that clubhouse, I think I'm probably coming out a little bit flat. They're pros. They probably won't. They'll probably play hard. But I would be coming out a little bit flat because I'd be a little bit dejected, right? If I'm Justin Turner, I'm thinking like, hey, I was brought here to try to win, and we're not taking a chance. If I'm Kenley Jansen, I'm thinking I was brought here to win, and I'm not taking a chance. If I am Rafi Devers, I'm like, I just signed a 10-year contract extension, and yeah, you're giving me a lot of money, but I'm really, really frustrated here that I've given you my best, and you're not giving me your best. That's the attitude I'd be feeling, right? Not everybody in the clubhouse is going to feel that way, right? Rob Refsnyder's he's ingratiated to the Red Sox, right? He might be frustrated, but they're like, hey, these guys gave me a full-time job. They gave me a contract extension. They gave me a multi-year deal, my first multi-year deal in my career. I don't think Rob Refsnyder is going to have too many complaints about the Red Sox. Jaron Duran's probably like, hey, these guys are giving me a chance to play every day. I'm getting a shot here. They didn't give up on me. I'm grateful for that. Costas is like, hey, they kept me in the lineup. They never sent me down. So I think some of these guys, they're okay. But the veterans, the Turners, the Jansens, the Devers, these guys that have invested their own career, their own time, their own energy in the Red Sox, and in Turner's case and Jansen's case, guys that have looked to turn around a culture that last year admittedly wasn't very good, I think those guys are PO'd today that their investment is not being matched by the front office. Okay? It's one thing, right? Like, I heard Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the Yankees, say earlier, like, hey, we haven't given the front office much of a reason to believe. Okay, that's different. My Mariners haven't given the front office much of a reason to believe. Red Sox got to as high as 9 games over 500. They've battled. They've given reason to believe. And that belief that they've given is not being reciprocated. And that's why I'm frustrated as a fan, and that's why I'd be frustrated if I were a player. It's one thing if you're sitting here and you're 54 and 54. Then you're kind of like, hey, we're between a rock and a hard place. That's not where the Red Sox are at, man. They're over 500 by a couple of games. They've gone on long winning streaks. They've done it in the face of injury. And right now, not getting rewarded for it. Chris Sale's on a rehab assignment tonight, scheduled to pitch for AAA Worcester. Julian McWilliams of the Boston Globe spoke this weekend in Nesson about kind of the plan for Sale moving forward.
That's the interesting piece about this, TC, because he's not throwing 2 innings on Tuesday, which is typical for your first rehab assignment. He's throwing 3. So I think they see a window here of opportunity for them to be able to get him back sooner rather than later. And what role? We don't know. But Alex Cora did hint at, he said, what San Francisco is doing over there in terms of their starters is interesting. You know, the whole, hiding your starters in the bullpen. Now, he didn't say that he would do that with Sale, but he did say that, if it's an opportunity for them to start him and have him go 3 or 4 innings and then bring in a reliever, as he builds up, I think they think just having his arm in this role, in a starter's role, and this late into the season is sort of good for this team and brings a different type of presence. So,
look, the whole thing with Sale worries me, right? It worries me that he's not getting a traditional build-up here in the minor leagues. It worries me what Buster says about, hey, they're going to pitch him till his arm falls off practically. All of this worries me. I like what Sale had to say this weekend, right? Sale, for all the griping that people do about him, and I get it, he makes a lot of money and he hasn't been a good return on investment and he's eating up the payroll. I get all of that. But for all the griping that people do about him, I liked what he had to say this weekend. He said, look, I'll pitch in whatever role they want. Okay, I will do whatever the team asks me. They want to start me and throw me 2 innings, great. They want to start me and throw me 7, great. They want me to be in the bullpen, I'll do whatever I can. I think at this point, Chris Sale just wants to be out there. I can appreciate that. All of this makes me nervous. Okay, I would say Chris Sale's best suited in the bullpen, right? He's got the anger and the rage to be a great 1-inning pitcher. He's got the stuff to be a great 1-inning pitcher where he can just let it fly. But he's not built to warm up, and come into 3 games a week. He's not built to warm up and then sit down. So reliever doesn't really work for him. As a starter, he's not built. Right now, he's not built to go 6. So he's built now to throw 2 and then let Pivetta come in and throw 4 after that, or have him throw 3 or have him throw 4. And I don't know how that's going to go. But the Red Sox now, if they do nothing, they're going to end up having to rely on this guy. And I wish that they didn't. And that's the problem. This is why I wanted other people here, because I wanted Chris Sale to be a luxury, not a guy that you count on. And right now they're treating him like a guy that they've got to count on. And that's the problem here. That's the problem with this. This whole hey, Chris Sale's going to come back and be our great deadline acquisition. Okay, but Chris Sale's never shown us that we can. I have more faith in Trevor Story coming in to be a big trade deadline acquisition than I do in Chris Sale. Chris Sale hasn't given us any reason in the last 3 or 4 years to think that he's anything other than a walking injury risk. I wanted him to come in here and be a luxury. Instead, he's going to come in and have to be a focal point. And that's a disappointment. That's a disappointment. Looking at other things that are happening right now in the trade front with now 2 minutes to go. Again, things will come in after the deadline. But, okay. The Red Sox are apparently interested in Colton Wong, who's a guy who's DFA'd by the Mariners. I could spend time on that after 6 o'clock, and that doesn't interest me. The Orioles are close to acquiring Jack Flaherty from the Cardinals. That's another one of your division teams adding to its rotation. Going to get better. You're going to see him down the stretch. The Red Sox are not going to catch the Orioles in the AL East. They're going to play the Orioles down the stretch. The Orioles are about to get better if that happens. Okay, if that happens. Ian Bloom's going to speak in 15 minutes. The Red Sox are apparently interested in infielder Colton Wong. I'll tell you all you need to know about Colton Wong when we come back after the CBS News update here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Trade deadline season. That deadline is about to come and go. Where exactly do the Red Sox finish? We'll give you any information that trickles in 5 minutes here on WDEV AM and FM.
This is WDEV, Vermont's news station, owned and operated by the Radio Vermont Group. From the top of Sugarbush at 96.1 FM, WDEV Warren and Waitsfield, 96.5 W243 Barrie, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, along with our founding station, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury Montpelier, streaming at WDEVradio.com. 92 years of serving Vermont, the friendly pioneer, WDEV.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Monica Ricks in New York, and we are following major breaking news out of Washington this hour, where former President Donald Trump has been indicted again. Here's CBS's Robert Costa.
This is a stunning moment in American history. A former president of the United States has been accused of trying to defraud the United States. And this was, in the words of the special counsel in this indictment, a sprawling conspiracy to overturn a presidential election, not with Trump as some kind of accomplice, but as the person really spearheading the entire operation inside the Oval Office, pulling every lever of power, trying to pressure his vice president to overturn the election. We know former Vice President Mike Pence has been a key witness in this January 6th investigation.
This latest indictment outlines 4 federal charges for obstruction and conspiracy over Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and for the attacks at the U.S. Capitol on January 6. CBS's Scott McFarland is outside the federal courthouse now in D.C. and breaks down the charges.
Conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. If that phrase, obstruction of an official proceeding, sounds familiar to you, it's because more than 300 of the January 6th riot defendants have faced that charge, the official proceeding being the January 6th electoral count.
And these charges come after a years-long investigation that Trump himself questioned today on Truth Social. He called it a fake indictment. But CBS's Major Garrett has more on this very real 40-page indictment.
The indictment says the former president of the United States spread lies, that he knew that they were lies, and the things that he was saying, not only he had reason to know, but actually knew were false. That makes the former president the central actor in the greatest crisis played out on live television about the peaceful transition of power in our country's history.
Trump's camp did release a statement in response to this indictment, blaming the Biden administration for weaponizing the Justice Department. He says it's now trying to interfere with the 2024 election. And this is Trump's second federal indictment. He's also facing federal charges for allegedly mishandling classified documents after leaving office. That trial is set to go forward next year. As for today's charges, former President Trump is set to appear before a judge to be arraigned Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That hearing is not expected to be long, but it will be historic. He is the first former or current U.S. president to face federal criminal charges. Again, this is breaking news this hour. President Trump, former President Trump, has been hit with a second federal indictment. This is CBS News.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring system helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
over there
are statistically,
it's still alive.
Unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Our top story right now is former President Trump's federal indictment, but we should mention the heat is back and July broke records.
With the high-pressure heat dome again sitting on Texas, record high temperatures are expected all over the state this week.
I don't know how people can work outside right now. It's terrible.
It's too hot to really have a good time.
Man, everything's drying up.
The persistent triple-digit temperatures and dry conditions now means Texas is ripe for large wildfires. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
Wildfire season has arrived in California, where firefighters are scrambling to contain a massive fire in the Mojave Desert. And decades after doctors stole and cloned a black woman's cells without her consent, her family has justice. Their attorney, Ben Crump.
I am so excited on what would have been Henrietta Lack's 103rd birthday to be able to announce a settlement.
Terms of that deal were not disclosed. Monica Ricks, CBS News.
Make your opinion heard by texting onto the Brady Farkas Show at 802-585-3026.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show. Yeah, there we go.
WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Oh, there we go. Brady Farkas Show back at it. 605 WDEV AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. A wry laugh is all that I can manage. Okay, 6 o'clock is come and gone, and the Boston Red Sox have done nothing. Okay, they're saying things will come down after the deadline. There are a chance for you, but sorry, I'm reading a couple things here. Chaim Bloom's going to speak to the media here in about 10 minutes. I'll have a little bit. We won't have the sound, but we'll have a reaction to it. We'll be reading it kind of along on social media. Lou Merlone, Red Sox insider, former infielder and current broadcaster, says that this is depressing. I agree. So there are a couple of minutes left for things to trickle in, but bottom line is this. Anything big that would have happened for the Red Sox, they haven't done. Okay? We know that Verlander got traded. We know that Dylan Cease didn't get traded. We know that Rich Hill got traded. Red Sox weren't in on any of this stuff. So just very, very depressing. Lou Merlone is right. 802-585-3026. Steve on the text line says the Red Sox should be sellers. No. I mean, what kind of planet are we on where I, Mr. Prospect Guy, Mr. Draft Pick, Mr. Horde for the Future, what kind of planet are we on that I am saying go for it, and all of the other Boston fans, all the other New England fans are saying sell? I can't believe what I am hearing. Okay, I cannot believe what I am hearing. Okay, I thought New England fans were supposed to be irrational. I thought New England fans were supposed to be addicted to winning. I thought they were supposed to crave championships. I thought big market teams were always supposed to go to it. Usually for the last 7 years, I've been talking you all off the ledge against doing that stuff, and I've been fighting the battle of being pragmatic and being logical. This year, I actually think the Red Sox should go for it, and you're all pulling me back, and I have to drag you along with me. I do not get this. Okay? The Boston Red Sox are 2.5 games out. The Boston Red Sox were just 1.5 games out. And the Boston Red Sox are about to get healthier and therefore get better. That team deserves to go for it. Okay, San Diego Padres are 3 games under 500. They're 5 games back. I could make a case that they should blow it up, right? Trade Juan Soto. Trade whoever, Blake Snell. Trade Yu Darvish, whatever. I can make a case that team should blow it up. That's a team not going in the right direction. I can make a case that the Yankees, who are 3.5 games back, I believe, 3.5 games back heading into today, but have a bunch of older players and don't really have any options right now at rotation outside of Cole. I can make an option that, or make a thing that they should be blowing it up. The Red Sox they're on the ascent to me. Okay. They're 2.5 back. They're about to get all these injured guys back. They're about to get an all-star back in Story, an all-star back in Sale, who can contribute a little bit until he gets hurt again. Whitlock, Houck. They're also a situation where Duran is much better now than he was 3 months ago. And Casas is much better now than he was 3 months ago. So the losses you suffered in April, you theoretically wouldn't have to suffer in August and September because your lineup has just gotten naturally deeper because these guys have grown. The Red Sox, to me, are a team on the uptick, not a team on the downside, and they're a team that should be going for it, and you're all telling me that they should sell. Okay, what they should have done is trade Duvall, trade for their major league roster. They should have done that no matter what. Glenn from Brookfield says, we gambled. I hope it works out, but they should have done something. The Red Sox are gambling on these injured players. This is where all the pressure is now. The pressure is on Chaim Bloom. The pressure is on these injured players. Because, I mean, you're putting all your eggs in the Sale, Houck, Story, and Whitlock basket. And maybe it does work. And if it does work, I will be the first one to come here on October 1st when the regular season's over and tell Chaim Bloom I'm sorry. I think I'm pretty good at that. I will come here on October 1st if this works out and tell Chaim Bloom, I am sorry. You were right. You were right to count on these guys. But right now, that's a risky proposition. Sale hasn't shown us he can stay healthy. Story has had some good moments at rehab, but I don't know if he's going to come up and be able to hit 97 in the bottom of the 8th inning with runners at second and third, nobody out. I don't know that. Down 3. I don't know that it doesn't take him a month and a half to get into the season. Story hit 238 a year ago. I feel good about him, but I don't know that I feel good about him coming up here to hit 310 and all of a sudden have 15 homers in the last 2 months of the season. And that's basically what you're asking these guys to do. Whitlock is a guy who, as a starter, is very, very mid-level right now. Maybe they put him back in the bullpen. I don't know. If they put him back in the bullpen, they could have used another starter. Oh, wait, they didn't get one. I'm going to give Twitter another refresh here. Twitter or X or whatever the hell we're supposed to call this thing these days, this social media app that we're all on. I'm seeing nothing about the Red Sox right now. Okay, Mets acquire a couple of low-level pitchers from the Dodgers. Dodgers really just trying to clear room on guys. Yeah, nothing. Nothing. I mean, here we are. It's 6:11. Couple minutes for deals to go in, but I'm not seeing anything. Okay, I am not seeing anything. The Marlins have just put a eyes emoji out there. No idea what they're talking about. Maybe they've got something, but it's just so disheartening. It is so disheartening. I can't believe this thing, but people want the Red Sox to have been sellers. They should have been sellers a month ago, right? They could have been a seller at the beginning of June. Then I probably told you, trade Duvall, trade Kike, trade Paxton, get something for him. They could have done that then, but now they've played themselves into contention. They played themselves into the conversation, and now here they are, just kind of staying in. Just 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm bothered by this, and I've defended Chaim Bloom so much, and I've tried to understand so much, and I've tried to rationalize so much, and all I get out of the trade deadline is that the Red Sox are interested in Colton Wong. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Colton Wong. Colton Wong was a guy who played for my Mariners this season. The Mariners, who are also mid-level, just like the Red Sox, just designated Colton Wong for assignment. Okay? That means they don't want him anymore. You know why they designated him for assignment? He's hitting 165 this season with 2 home runs, a 241 on-base percentage, and he's also playing below average defense. He doesn't run particularly well. He hits for no power. He's not hitting for any average, and he can't field. This is the guy that the Red Sox are supposed to be excited about. This is the guy we're supposed to be happy about. Now, I'm a Mariners fan. I'm a cursed Mariners fan. I could see a scenario where Colton Wong comes back from the dead and hits 320 for the Red Sox just to screw me. But beyond that, this is not a guy you should be all that excited about. And this is what we're hearing. You should be making a run. The Red Sox should be making a run at the playoffs and should be going for it. And all I'm getting is that maybe you have a cast-off infielder who's 32 years old, who has awful numbers and awful metrics and just got cut by a team that's slightly less average than you. That's a problem. If this is what you're doing at the trade deadline, when you're in the race, this is a problem. And I have said all along, Chaim Bloom is on the clock this year. He didn't address things big in the offseason like I wanted him to. I was talking about in the offseason, hey, let's go get Mitch Haniger. Hey, let's go get Carlos Rodon. And I get Rodon was hurt, and maybe I would have been screwed on that. But, I was saying, hey, this is the offseason that matters for Bloom. Go find something out. Go get something big. Go spend the money. Didn't do it. He had a nice offseason. countered that. Got Turner, got Jansen. Duvall's great early. I know he got hurt. It's not his fault. Right? Did some good things. But Paxton, who we got last year, so it kind of shut me up a bit. But eventually, you got to pull the trigger on some stuff. And he hasn't done it. Tex says, we don't have enough pitching. Sale's a liability. This sucks. You don't have enough pitching. The Boston Red Sox do not have enough pitching. They're right. Now, when they get everybody back, they have enough in theory, but I don't know if they don't have enough reliable pitching. That's the problem, right? In number, they will have enough. Okay, they will have Paxton, and they will have Bayo, and they will have Pavetta, and they'll have Danny. I'm missing somebody here. Who am I missing starting rotation wise? Of the three guys they got healthy, who am I missing here all of a sudden? They got Paxton out there, they got Bayo out there, and there's a third one that is escaping me at the moment. Someone can text in on the AR Auto text line, 802-585-3026. But then they're going to have Sale, and then they're going to have Houck, and then they're going to have Whitlock, and Cutter Crawford. That's the other one. They got Crawford. They'll have Pavetta. They'll have Martin. They'll have Jansen. They have bodies. When all these guys are healthy, but I don't know how many of them are reliable. Right now, a lot of them have proven not to be. My guy Jeff over in North Hero says, what are you willing to trade away and for what? I hope all is well. I am willing to trade away the following. As I have said all along, I was willing to trade away Kike Hernandez. They went and got 2 minor league relievers, one of which is an upper-level minors reliever that might be able to help this year. I was told that was a pretty good return. I didn't love it at first, but I was told that was a pretty good return. So I would have traded Kike Hernandez. They did that. I would have traded Adam Duvall. Redundancy on your roster. A guy you no longer need because of Duran's development. He's a guy you no longer need. So I would have traded Duvall. I would have tried to get a starting pitcher. Could I have done Adam Duvall for a Rich Hill type? Maybe. Not with a bad team, right? A bad team wouldn't have done that deal because they need young players, not older players who are 36. But was there a contender for contender swap where you're looking for a bat and I'm looking for an arm and we can match up? I would have made those calls. Adam Duvall for a pitcher, hopefully. I would have been more than happy to package. Bobby Dahlbeck is in purgatory right now at AAA. Been crushing the ball at AAA. You don't think that the Oakland A's or the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Chicago White Sox or, the St. Louis Cardinals, all of these teams that ended up selling, you don't think they would have been intrigued by a guy who's been in the majors before, who's crushed it at the upper minors, who's got 5 years left of team control, who's cheap, who's got defensive versatility? You wouldn't have been interested in, hey, can I get another bullpen arm for Bobby Dahlbeck? Can I package Bobby Dahlbeck and Christian Arroyo to go get something? All of these things were on the table, and the Red Sox did none of it. They also have what other teams don't have, which is money, Jeff. Okay, they can go buy players. Remember a couple of years ago when they just took on Adam Ottavino's $8 million salary just because they could? They could have done that again. Hey, you got an overpriced pitcher that you're not using, or that you don't want, that you're not happy with his pay. Okay, I talked about the Red Sox getting Chris Flexen a bunch of weeks ago when the Mariners DFA'd him. They didn't do it. Now he's pitching for the Colorado Rockies. Would have cost $4 million. Could have bought him. Didn't do it. So they had prospects. They had guys in their own system who were blocked, and they have money, and they didn't use any of it. Text, how much does this hurt morale in the clubhouse, especially after Devers' comments, expecting help on the way and getting none? It hurts it. It hurts it. These guys are pros. I think they'll come out and say, I think the Red Sox will come out and say, hey, at least we didn't sell. I think that's how they will spin this to themselves. I think the clubhouse will spin this as, hey, we didn't get rid of Duvall. We didn't get rid of Paxton. We didn't get rid of valuable pieces. We kept Pavetta. I think they'll talk themselves into that. But if you are a true veteran on this team, the Jansen, the Turner, the Devers, especially since Devers put himself out there and made the call to action and didn't get anything, I think those guys are frustrated. Absolutely. They will be good soldiers, and they will put on a brave face for the clubhouse, but I do not think they're happy today. I do not think they're happy. Jeff says, I gave you a great Teddy Roosevelt quote about doing something, doing nothing, doing something that's bad. You didn't use it. It was way too smart sounding and confusing for me to read on the air. Bottom line is the Red Sox had chances to do things, and they didn't do it. Danny, let's monitor. Let's give our post 6:15 MLB trade rumors check and see if we find anything. The Red Sox are acquiring infielder Luis Urias from the Milwaukee Brewers. There you go. There's your move. So it's not going to be Colton Wong. It's going to be another team's bench infielder. I mean, there you go. It's going to be another team's bench infielder. The Brewers are trying to win the National League Central. Okay, they are not giving up. They're not giving up key starters here when they're in the midst of a playoff race. I'm looking at Urias right now. He has played in 20 games this season. Okay, he's the brother of of Ramon Urias, who's a Gold Glover for the Orioles. Urias is 26. He's played 20 games this year. He's hitting 145 with 1 homer and 5 RBIs. He's got 0 stolen bases, 9 career. So that's your deadline move. That's your deadline move. And I'm not to say I'm all for looking under the couch covers and finding guys just like this and giving them a chance. I am all for that. Not at the trade deadline. Not at the trade deadline. When you are the Pittsburgh Pirates, you look for guys like this. When you're in the offseason, you look for guys like this. When you're the Seattle Mariners, you look for guys like this. The Tampa Bay Rays make a living on guys like this and turning them good. The Dodgers did it with Max Muncy. The Dodgers did it with Justin Turner. Dodgers have revived a lot of people who looked just like that before. I'm all for taking a shot on these guys and seeing what happens. Not when it's my only move at the trade deadline. Not when it's my only move at the trade deadline. Will over in Plattsburgh again. Why pick up Turner and Jansen if you're not even going to go for it? Well, that's a good question. I think, as I said back when they signed these guys, I think this was the plan all along with Turner and Jansen. That I think, let me back up. I thought the Red Sox were going to be bad this season. The Red Sox are better than I thought, right? I thought they'd be a little bit better. Like later as we got into spring training, I thought they'd be a little bit better than I had thought. But like I thought all along, the Red Sox were a 4th or 5th place team. They are in 4th place right now, but I think they're playing better than I expected. So I was thinking all along, they signed Turner and Jansen, and they hope to catch lightning in a bottle like they did in 2021. And if they do, then they ride these guys to the playoffs. But if they were bad like I expected, then I think that the thought was, hey, we could trade them at the deadline. And the problem is that the Red Sox aren't good enough, apparently, to catch lightning in a bottle like 2021 for the front office's eyes. They're not bad enough to completely sell. So they were caught in this purgatory. And this is what the new playoff format has done, right? It's made teams a lot more waffly and a lot more on the edge here, right? Like there's more teams that are in it, so teams are more hesitant to sell. Because there's an extra playoff team, teams look at it and say, hey, we don't have to buy as hard because we just have more chances to get to the playoffs. There's more spots, so we can kind of just get by being us. And so teams have been able to waffle. My Mariners did it too. They didn't do anything at the trade deadline, except for trade away a closer and go get some offensive pieces that hopefully they can help. And they got 2 guys who are on the roster now are going to be in the lineup, maybe even tonight against the Red Sox. So we'll see. But when you have more avenues to the playoffs, teams look at it and say, hey, we don't have to identify as a buyer or a seller. And sometimes we can just stick just being us. Let me talk very briefly about that game last night. I am shocked that the Mariners won that game. And this is my own Mariners doomsday fandom coming into play. I have seen that Mariners game 100 times in the last decade, and the Mariners lose it almost all of them. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for the Red Sox to take that game over, and it never happened, right? 1st and 2nd, nobody out in the 6th. Verdugo hits a rocket, double play. I was shocked. After the Mariners get the home run 2-1 with Cal Raleigh, take the lead, then the Red Sox have a chance again in the 8th, right? It's I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here. Saucedo gives up a hit, then he walks Ref Snyder, and
then they go to the bullpen, and Munoz goes 3-1, I think, on Verdugo, and he ends up K-ing him. I'm shocked that he did that. And then in the ninth, I'm waiting for that game to get blown, even though the Mariners are up 6-1. I'm like, hey, it's a drop third strike, and they've gotten the strikeout. The game should be over, but instead the game keeps going, and now Yoshida hits this bullet up the middle, and I'm shocked Crawford caught it. I'm shocked the Mariners won that game because I've seen them lose that so many times in my life. From a Red Sox perspective, Nick Pivetta deserved better. Nick Pivetta was incredible last night. And what they forced him to do, I don't think was fair. I'm sure he wanted to do it, but I don't think it was really fair what he was asked to do. Okay, I knew the bullpen was in a bind, but I haven't seen Pivetta throw 100 pitches in a long time this season, right? He's been hovering around, I think like 75, 80. Someone can go check this on this, but I don't think he's thrown, 108 or whatever it was in a while. So he's got to go out there. They're not warming anybody up. And I mean, he's got to get a run out there into the eighth, and he's overextended. He's over 100 pitches. I don't think that was real fair, but he gutted it out. And he had no walks. He had 10 Ks, and he was excellent. He deserved better than that. And the offense, they hit a couple balls hard. Yoshida hit some balls hard that were caught. The Verdugo double play was scorched, so there was some bad luck involved. But, man, Pivetta deserved better. Text says, we need to dance with who brung us here. No, you don't. You're going to dance with who brung you here. You don't need to. Okay, this is not an 18th century cotillion, right? Like, I'm all for, if you go to the prom with a prom date, I'm all for not ditching that prom date because you found somebody you think was better to dance with. I'm all for, or I'm not for that, right? You're in high school, it's the senior year of prom, you ask a girl to go with you to the prom, she says yes, and then 3 weeks later you find out that someone better looking or you think is better looking might want to go with you. Don't be that guy who goes and asks the other girl with. Okay, that's how life works. That's how the prom works. It's not how baseball works. I don't need to dance with who brung me. I don't need to go with my original prom date. Okay, there's upgrades out there, and I could have taken advantage of them, and I didn't. Okay, I didn't. And now as a result, I have a team that's possible of making the playoffs that now feels less possible today because the Angels are better, and Toronto's better, and Houston's better. And Seattle, while I don't think they're better than they were the other day, they're breathing down my neck, and they could pass me. And if they win the next 2 games here, now I'm behind them, and I have one more team to leapfrog. This is a bad day to be a Red Sox fan. And don't tell me the Red Sox should have been sellers. They should have been buyers because they're close enough, and they're good enough, and their players deserve it. Text says, it was great pitching by Pivetta. He is a gamer. You need to trust him. I like Pivetta. I've always liked Pivetta. And I think his stuff plays well in the bullpen, right? 2 to 3 pitch pitcher, good intensity, throws hard, has a good curveball, really good curveball last night. It's his mindset that doesn't allow him to be in the bullpen a lot, right? He didn't want to go to the pen. So he was kind of getting in his own. This guy keeps telling me to trust things. He's told me to trust what I have, trust Pivetta, and trust the upgrades. I've not trusted the upgrades. Chris Sale, the only thing I could trust is that he's going to break down. Trevor Story hit 238 last year. I do feel good about him, but I don't know that I can say I trust. I can say I'm optimistic, but I don't know that I trust. Garrett Whitlock's a mid-4 ERA starter, 5 ERA starter. I don't know that I can trust that. I want to get to the playoffs. This is not just, hey, we got a nice team. We'll see what happens. No. Toronto Blue Jays aren't doing that. Baltimore Orioles aren't doing that. Tampa Bay Rays aren't doing that. Angels aren't doing that. But we are. Boston Red Sox are. Frustrated. Chaim Bloom speaking to the media about what did and didn't go down at the trade deadline. We'll give you the latest from Chaim's press conference. That's next on the Brady Farkas Show on DEV.
At Northfield Savings Bank, our mortgage bankers aren't just bankers. We're your neighbors. That means you won't just get competitive mortgage rates and fast local decision-making. You also get bankers who live and work where you live and work. So whether you're buying your first home or downsizing, before you make such a big financial decision, talk to a banker who's not just a mortgage expert, but who knows what really matters to us here in Vermont. Visit us today at nsbvt.com/mortgages and meet your bankers. Northfield Savings Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, folks. This is Peter Burke. Join Joel Nashman and me in the garden Saturdays at 12:30. Don't try to do it alone in your garden. Call in with questions, for advice, or just to share your successes in the garden.
Brought to you in part by
P&R Lumber, Route 15 Wolcott, family milled lumber for all projects. See them on Facebook. Guy's Farm and Yard. If it eats and grows, guys can feed it. Guy'sFarmandYard.com. And Dandelion Acres Garden Center in Bethel. DandelionAcres.com.
Hi, this is Kathy. And this is Kate from the Stowe Street Emporium in Waterbury, your family-owned gift store. We offer unique, eclectic, and affordable gifts, including brand names and Vermont-made products our customers have come to love. Whether you need a housewarming present, a baby gift, a new dress, a birthday card for a friend, or Vermont souvenirs, the Emporium has what you need and so much more.
The Stowe Street Emporium is open daily, so see you soon at 23 Stowe Street in historic downtown Waterbury.
Join me this Saturday as WDEV broadcasts live from P&R Lumber on Route 15 in Wolcott for their annual Customer Appreciation Day. Great sales on lumber, mulch, and compost. Prizes and much more this Saturday on WDEV.
Hi, this is Radio Vermont weather forecaster Roger Hill. Join me for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to the White Continent, Antarctica. We'll fly together from Burlington on January 24th next year. And after a night on the town in Buenos Aires, Argentina, we'll board our private charter flight to Ushuaia and embark on the World Navigator crossing the infamous Drake's Passage. Accompanied by petrels and albatrosses, we'll see the South Shetland Islands and the Antarctic Peninsula alongside the hourglass dolphins and humpback whales. We'll see rugged mountain peaks, black sands, and expensive tundra while enjoying shore landings led by expert field guides. We'll get up close to nature, paddling next to icebergs, seals, whales, and of course the emblem of Antarctica, the penguin. Prices start at $10,000 per person. I hope you'll join me. Contact your Milne Travel Advisor. Call 800-78-MILNE or email help@milnetravel.com. That's 9 nights of cruising Antarctica with me, Roger Hill. Contact Milne Travel for more information.
Local businesses advertise with WDEV because they get results.
I've been advertising on WDEV for a number of years now. It's been a really great spot for me to get my name out.
We're an excellent partner for our advertising dollars.
We jumped at the opportunity and we're so pleased we did. We have experienced incredible results.
Interested in advertising on WDEV? Contact us at WDEV@radiovermont.com.
Your chance to be part of the show is on the text line at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show right here, WDEV AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. If you are watching us on the video stream, we appreciate you. We're brought to you by Fecto Homes, your total home solution in Montpelier, online at fectohomes.com. Texter goes, let's talk in 3 weeks. Love your intensity, but Bloom has a few pay grades above us. Danny, you've worked with me for a lot of years now. You've heard me do a lot of shows in those years. When a guy says, let's talk in 3 weeks, what am I going to say to that?
I know a previous co-host that would say the show is now.
The show is today, okay? There is no let's talk in 3 weeks, okay? Here, I'll make you a deal. If WDEV wants to pay me for the next 3 weeks, okay? 3 weeks from now would be, 21 days, August 22nd. If WDEV wants to pay me for the next 3 weeks to not do a show, I will come back on August 22nd and we will talk about where the Red Sox are then. Or if this texter wants to pay me so WDEV doesn't have to, then we can talk about the Red Sox then. Because the show is today, okay? And the show is always changing, and opinions can evolve, and the show can change. And what I think today might be different tomorrow. I'm not above, people always say in this business, oh, you're a flip-flopper, you're a flip-flopper. No, I'm just a guy who has a different opinion today than yesterday. I got new information today than yesterday. I got new information, 3 weeks from now, whatever. Okay, you can get new information. You can grow. You can change your opinion. Things can happen that reshape your view. But the show is today. And today I'm ticked off. And today the Red Sox had a chance to get better and they didn't take it. Today the Red Sox had a chance to up their playoff odds and they didn't take it. Maybe you will be right, texter, that in 3 weeks the Red Sox will be just fine. Maybe they will. And if they will, I'll eat my words. But today, I think the rest of the text line agrees with me. I got Jeff over in North Hero. I got Will in Plattsburgh. I got Glenn in Brookfield. All of them are upset with this just like I am. So there's no talking in 3 weeks. There's talking today. This is community therapy here that the Boston Red Sox had a chance to get better and didn't take it. Text says, I hope the texter listens in for the next 3 weeks. That's what matters most. He says, no, I want the show to happen for 3 weeks. I don't want to have to pay you, and I'm sure your thoughts will evolve. They should evolve. But you don't know. Look, over the next 3 weeks, you don't know that the Red Sox don't go 6-12 and tank. And I don't know that they go 12-6. That's why we do this every single day. Okay, today is a frustrating day. As for what's happening here with High and Bloom at the podium. Okay. Max Cirillo of the Boston Herald. Got a couple of different things. I'm kind of going back to the beginning of his thread. Bloom's been talking for 15 minutes or so. Chaim Bloom is going to fly to Seattle tonight so he can be available to the players if anyone wants to talk about the trade deadline moves. If I am Rafi Devers, I would like a word. If I'm Kenley Jansen, I'd like a word. If I am Justin Turner, I'd like a word. Beyond that, I don't think anyone else talks. Maybe Chris Martin, maybe. But if I am Chaim Bloom, I'm going to hear it from those three. Look, we signed up here so we could win titles. Okay, Justin Turner has won a title, right? Justin Turner's got money. He's won a title. Why is he still playing? He's playing for the love of the game when he's playing to win. Now he's in a situation where winning doesn't seem to be as prioritized as he would want. Kenley Jansen has won. Why is he here? He wants to win. Not getting the same treatment. Rafi Devers, I signed a 10-year extension here. Yes, I signed for money. A lot of it. But I also want to win a World Series again, and you have done nothing here to make that easier today. Also for Bloom. Bloom describes the Red Sox as underdogs. Look at the odds. He reiterates he's confident in this group, but is mindful they aren't in playoff position right now and have work to do. Okay, so here you go. This is the Chaim Bloom rulebook. Here you go. Here's the Chaim Bloom rulebook. We have to be in playoff position at the trade deadline in order to go for it. One game out, we're not going for it. Half game out, we're not going for it. Tied, not going for it. We've got to be in playoff position. Okay, when we're in first place in the AL East, all in. First place wild card, all in. Second place wild card, we're good. Third place wild card, yeah, we'll probably go for that too. But if we're out of it, we're not taking a shot at it. Really? That infuriates me to no end. Again, you're not 7 games back. You're not 17 games back. You're not 4 games under 500. You're 2.5 back. You were just 1.5 back. And now you're labeling yourself. I don't care about the playoff odds. Okay? I don't care about the playoff odds. The FanGraphs odds on July 15th or July 20th don't mean a lot to me. I look at them, but they're not a Bible to live by. If I'm Chaim Bloom, here's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking, okay, I'm chasing the Houston Astros in the wild card race. I'm going to play them 7 times in August. I have a chance to make a direct impact right there on a team we're chasing. That's the odds I want to look at. It's not, oh, we're behind. It's, hey, we're playing Houston 7 times next month. Let's take a shot at them. Let's get better for them. Oh, Toronto, we're chasing them too. Yeah, we're in the division with them. We've played really well against them this year. We've already won the season series. Let's finish them off. Oh, we're playing Seattle, a team that's right behind us, so we have a chance to bury and get out of our hair? Yeah, let's do that. Instead, let's go acquire a cast-off minor league 4A infielder from the Milwaukee Brewers and do nothing else. Tex says, it's frustrating because we had a great record in July. I'm trusting that and waiting for guys to come back. Rafi needs to shut up and produce. He was not a big part of success these last 3 weeks. Yeah, I disagree with that too. Rafi needs to shut up and produce. Rafi has a $313 million contract extension. You know what Rafi needs to be? Is a leader. You know what Rafi was? A leader. Okay, Rafi Devers is not a guy who is some disgruntled employee who pops off every time, who you just roll your eyes and go, oh, there's Rafi again, right? We all know people like that. That's not what Devers is. Devers hasn't said anything all season. He's been the complete opposite of vocal all season. He's very much like, he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does talk, you better listen. Well, he spoke, and they didn't listen. That's not Rafael Devers needing to shut up and play. That's Rafael Devers saying, I'm getting paid $330 million over the course of this deal. I need to be a leader, and I'm taking my shot now. And I applauded him for it yesterday. I applaud him for it today. Don't tell me Rafael Devers needs to shut up, right? Like David Price was a guy who you rolled your eyes at. He was a guy you got tired of. He's a guy you got sick of hearing from. Rafael Devers, we never hear from. I'm not getting sick of that. I want to hear, if he's going to speak calculatedly, and that's what he did. And they didn't honor it, and they didn't go for it. And I don't think it plays well with the veterans in the clubhouse. Bloom says the return of several key players from injury did not have any impact on the club's deadline approach. Yeah, that's probably the wrong answer. Because you know what the right answer is for the clubhouse? At least if you've done this, the right answer to do now is damage control with the clubhouse, where Chaim Bloom can go to his clubhouse and say, look, we're bringing back an all-star, multi-time all-star in Trevor Story. We're bringing back a guy who's gotten Cy Young votes in many years in Chris Sale. We're bringing back 2 young starters that are really good. And by the way, they're better than the Rich Hills of the world. Like, if I'm Chaim Bloom, that's how I'm spinning this. Like, if I'm Chaim Bloom, I'm going to the clubhouse and saying, hey, our 4 guys that we got are better than what was out there. I promise you. That's how you have to spin this. Elicit confidence, elicit trust. But now he says, oh, that didn't matter at all. That's the wrong answer. That's not what I want to hear. If I'm Justin Turner, if I'm Rafael Devers, I want to hear you believe at least in the core we got and the guys coming back. I don't want to hear that it had nothing to do with it. Wrong answer. Read the room. Read the room. Then he was asked why he didn't sell any of the rental players. Said they still liked this team, didn't want to force the team, didn't want to force a deal they didn't believe in. Let's see. Danny sent me a little message here. Yeah, okay. So Jen McCaffrey of The Athletic says, Bloom was asked about the price for some players they were targeting. He says, we would have to give up players that were so integral to what we're doing, we would have been robbing Peter to pay Paul. It wouldn't make sense. That's an answer I can get behind. But I have to believe that there was a market for Adam Duvall. I have to believe there was a package that existed for Bobby Dahlbeck. I have to believe that I get not trading Marcelo Meyer. I get not trading Roman Anthony or Cedon Rafaela. I get it. But you had a chance with some guys in the upper level of your minors who you don't care about as much, or Duvall or Verdugo. Again, I didn't want to trade Verdugo, but they could have done it. You had a chance to get better. They didn't take it. Text says, after the original text who says Rafi needs to shut up and play, says, actually, Brady, you're right. Thank you. Text says, Bloom was probably looking for an overly clever Bloom type deal that just never arrived. It's an interesting point because I do think there are GMs that play fantasy baseball and try to outsmart the room. And I think Bloom is like that. I think a lot of these analytics guys are like that. And I think in the offseason especially, you see that. Do I think that Chaim Bloom was trying to outsmart the room here at the trade deadline? No, I just think Chaim Bloom is ultra disciplined and sometimes disciplined to a fault. And he doesn't want to impact the future at all. If, you know, it's interesting. I think about this. Danny, did you ever play sports video games growing up?
Not a ton, but.
Okay. But you know the premise of sports video games, right? So yeah. I would play Madden growing up. And I love to play the games. Okay, I always play the season, and I love to play the games. And I'd play all 16 games, and I'd burn through the season real quick, and I'd finish. And then you'd get to the off season, right? They actually had an off season mode. And when it came to the off season mode, I wasn't that interested. Like okay, we got the draft, and we got some skills things, and we can make this guy better, and we can do all these little mini games to get my guys better. I wanted to simulate through all of that. Why? Because I wanted to get back to the games more. The games that I was playing meant more to me. I had friends who didn't like playing the games. All they liked doing was the off-season stuff. They're like, hey, I want to do the draft, and I want to build this guy up. And then when the game comes, I just want to simulate all the games, and I want to build. Chaim Bloom seems to be kind of that build guy. Okay? He's so focused on what's coming next that he's not seeing what's happening in front of him. And you have to have a balance here. You know me. I'm all for build for the future. I'm all for draft. I'm all for prospects. I'm not for kill the future to get a little bit of satisfaction now. But there is a balance, and the balance is something you have to strike, and he doesn't seem to be doing that. The farm system is almost like it cannot be touched. It can be touched. Bobby Dahlbeck can be gotten rid of. And, your upper-level minors' depth can be gotten rid of. And where if you've got any third basemen there that are blocked by Rafael Devers, that guy might be able to be moved. If you've got any first basemen that are blocked by Casas, that guy can be moved. You have to look at all options. And the Red Sox aren't. And if worse comes to worse, you've always got the money that you can go. Look, Steve Cohen paid Justin Verlander to go away so they could get a better prospect. Steve Cohen paid Max Scherzer a lot of money to go away so they could get better prospects. If you just want to buy players with your wallet, Red Sox could have done it, and they didn't do it. 802-585-3026, AR Auto text line. AR Auto text line, ARAutosales.com. We are going to have more on the Red Sox tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be more that comes out of this Bloom conversation. Obviously, the Red Sox are taking the Mariners on today. I will be interested to see how the Red Sox come out today. I thought there was a chance the Mariners could have come out flat yesterday. I thought they played hard. I think there's a chance the Red Sox can come out flat today. I think that they'll play hard as well. I do think there's a dejection there, but I do think they'll play hard. They will have had a couple of hours post-deadline to get ready for the game and kind of re-clear the mind. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I do want to get to one Patriots note that I've been sitting on all day. We'll get to that about Ezekiel Elliott and the potential fit for the Pats. We'll talk about it next on the Brady Farkas Show on DEV.
Some things are just better together. Castleton University, Northern Vermont University, and Vermont Technical College are coming together to form Vermont State University. The heritage and tradition, the experiential learning and accessibility, the innovative technology and proven career success, all combining to create an emboldened Vermont State University.
Come visit one or more of our campuses and discover all that Vermont State offers at our summer preview days and information sessions. You'll hear from our community, learn about admissions, and have the opportunity to take a campus tour led by our student ambassadors. Come to our information session in Castleton, August 4th, and Randolph, August 5th. Find out more on the visit page at vermontstate.edu.
More opportunities, possibilities, choices, and connections, creating a high-quality, flexible, and personalized education. One dynamic academic community. We're better together as Vermont State University.
It's full season barbecuing time, and the Willie's Store meat case has the steaks, the pork, chicken, and sausages to satisfy the hungry crew. Step into the hardware department for a new gas or charcoal grill. Head upstairs to housewares for new cast iron pans and barbecue utensils. Maybe a picnic basket. At painting projects, Willie's is loaded with True Test paints and Vermont natural coatings. They'll make painting almost fun. A new swimsuit, beach towels, sandals, and flip-flops will help too. At the Willie's Store for over 120 years in Greensboro, across from Caspian Lake.
Hi, Albert here from Waterbury Service Center on Main Street. We're seeing a lot of out-of-town customers on vacation here. Glad you're here. However, they're stopping here because of car problems. When you're headed out on vacation, stop here at Waterbury Service Center first. We'll check your hoses, your belts, thermostat to make sure there's no coolant leaks and make sure you have enough coolant for the trip. If the coolant is low or undegraded and the thermostat's sticking, you could have overheating problems. So thank you for your continued support. Serving you well is important to us. See you soon at Waterbury Service Center on Main Street.
And we're back. Hey, this is Caleb from Waterbury Sports. We were closed for 2 weeks following recent flooding. Lucky for us, a bevy of volunteers helped save our inventory from certain doom. Still more volunteers helped with cleanup, and the rest is history. The owners and the staff of Waterbury Sports would like to send out a huge thank you to all the volunteers and community members who gave us and anyone else in our community a helping hand. We've never been happier to be open and part of such a wonderful community. So come say hello at the reopened Waterbury Sports, downtown Waterbury, Vermont.
This is David Goodman. Join me every Wednesday at 1 o'clock for the Vermont Conversation, brought to you by vtdigger.org, Vermont's nonprofit news source. I'll talk with national and local changemakers from the worlds of politics, social and racial justice, science, education, and the environment who are having an impact on our daily lives. You can also hear the Vermont Conversation at vtdigger.org or sign up for our podcasts. Join me and take part in the Vermont Conversation Wednesdays at 1 here on WDEV.
Want Brady to hear your opinion on the sports stories of the day? Text in at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show right here on WDEV AM and FM, WDEVradio.com. We're up until 7 o'clock, just a couple minutes left. Jazz with George Thomas comes up next. He's on from 7 until 8:40. Then we have Red Sox baseball, 8:40 with the pregame show, 9:40 with the first pitch as they take on the Mariners for game 2 of a 3-game set. We'll give you the lineups here momentarily. At least the Mariners lineup is out right now. We'll see about the Red Sox lineup here in just a moment. I do want to get to one football thing. AR Auto text lines open 802-585-3026. Yesterday, we talked a lot about Ezekiel Elliott and if he would be a fit for the Patriots. And I said from a football standpoint, I think that he would be. And it's a move that I would make. I think the Patriots need a running back. I think they need an insurance policy for Ramondre Stevenson. I think they could use a short yardage back. I would absolutely sign Ezekiel Elliott, right? I'd sign Leonard Fournette if he wanted to come here. I'd sign Elliott. I'd go bring in some kind of power back to be a complement to Stevenson. Well, Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston was talking yesterday on TV late at night. He said he doesn't know if Elliott would want to come to Foxborough.
I think he understands where he is. He got beat out by Tony Pollard last year. He understands he's not a star. He would be coming into a place where he can learn something. It's not a championship-driven team. If I were him, I'd be looking for someplace else, unless I wanted to fill out my NFL resume and say, I played for Bill Belichick. To me, he's an easy fit.
You just don't think it's a fit that he'll want, not so much the
I wonder if he'll want it, because it's not an attractive landing spot. And you know you're going to be the second fiddle. And you know that you're going to get the ball out. And you're going to look in front of you and go, I'm going to be running around behind Connor McDermott and Cole Strange. I don't know if that's going to work for me.
This goes back to what we talked about yesterday, Danny, right? We had Roy White on from Blogging the Boys, the podcast there, and he's a longtime Dallas radio host. And we talked about what motivates Ezekiel Elliott. We don't know what motivates all professional athletes, okay? We don't know. But it's interesting to think about here. Curran says, the Patriots are not an attractive destination. It depends on what motivates you. It depends on what motivates you. If Ezekiel Elliott just wants a job, then the New England Patriots are incredibly attractive because they're a team that's offering a job. They're a team that has shown interest. They're a team that has shown that they want you. If you value being employed, making money, and if you value a team or a company that shows interest in you, then the Patriots are incredibly attractive. If Ezekiel Elliott is motivated by championships right now because he hasn't won one, then I don't think the Patriots are a particularly attractive thing because, as Tom Curran says, I don't think they're a championship-driven spot right now. They're in the bottom of their division, and they're in the bottom of the AFC, I would say, in the mid to bottom of the AFC. If Ezekiel Elliott's looking for money, that, if he's motivated by that, then that plays into it. If he's motivated by role, that plays into it. But so it all depends. Tom Curran says, I don't know if he'd want it. It all depends on what Ezekiel Elliott values at this point in his career. And I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you what I would value. I think at this point in my career, I would value an opportunity to show that I've still got it. That's what I would want if I were Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, I've made the money. I've had the stats. I've got the status and the recognition in this game. I'd want a championship, and I'd want to show that I've still got it. And I'd be playing those two things off each other. If the Kansas City Chiefs call and they say, Zeke, you're going to be only our backup, and you're going to get 2 carries a game, but you got a chance to win a title, I might not be that interested. If the Patriots call and say, Zeke, we're going to offer you 10 carries a game or 6 carries a game and 3 catches, and you're going to be in on critical third downs. You're going to have a chance to score touchdowns, but you're probably not going to win a title. Then I'd have to weigh that as well because that would be the battle that's going on inside me. I want to show that I've still got it. And if the Patriots offer me 10 touches a game, that's better than 1. We'll see how the championship thing plays into it. But if you value having a job, the Patriots are an attractive spot because right now they are the team that has the job. Danny, fire me up the baseball music. Couple of teams that didn't make a lot of moves at the deadline. The Red Sox are 56-50. They're 2.5 back in the wild card race. The Mariners are 55-51. They're 3.5 back in the wild card race. Pitching matchup is this. Brian Bayo goes for the Sox. He's 7-6 with a 3.66. Bryce Miller goes for Seattle. He's 7-3 with a 3.96. I think the Red Sox have the advantage here the next 2 days when it comes to the pitching staff. One, Mariners used their whole bullpen yesterday for the most part. Everybody who's leveraged, they use, right? They used Spire. They used Munoz. They used Brash. They've used Brash 4 games in a row. They didn't use Topa, but that's about it. So the bullpen situation favors the Red Sox because Pivetta took so many innings. And Bayo, I think at this point, is better than Miller. Miller's a 2-pitch pitcher. He's really just a 1-pitch pitcher. And against the Red Sox, I don't think he can get away with being just a fastball pitcher, even though Miller throws a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. That's pretty good. So I think the Red Sox do have an advantage tonight, pitching-wise. Jarren Duran, who was great last night. My God, 23 foul balls, I think, or 23 pitches he saw yesterday in his first 3 at-bats. He's in left. Verdugo's in right. Yoshida's at DH. Devers is at third. Duvall's in the lineup in center. Tristan Casas is at first. Christian Arroyo's at second. Reese McGuire's back from the injured list. He's the catcher. And Yu Chang is the shortstop, and he bats ninth. For the Mariners, J.P. Crawford, the guy who saved the game yesterday with that game-saving catch. He's at short. Julio Rodriguez is at center. Eugenio Suarez is at third. Cal Raleigh's back today. He's the catcher. Dominic Canzone, who they just acquired for the Diamondbacks, is in right and hitting fifth. Ty France is at first. Mike Ford is the designated hitter. Josh Rojas, who they just acquired for the Diamondbacks, is at second. And Cade Marlowe is the left fielder. He bats ninth. Thanks to Danny for joining us. Thanks to Danny for joining us. Not a guest. He's a valued member of the team. Thanks for being with us today, as always, Danny, on the ones and twos and the other side of the studio. There is no show tomorrow. Day Red Sox baseball, no show, no news. So we'll be back at it again on Thursday. Maybe my anger will have subsided at Heim Bloom by then. The odds are probably not. So Mariners Red Sox after Jazz with George Thomas. Our coverage 8:40, first pitch 9:40. Here on your home for Red Sox baseball. Go download the podcast, everybody. Brady Farkas Show, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. See you Thursday.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean